This is a clouds weather alert.
Good late Thursday, early Friday. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center right now, giving you the latest in the tropics. We have that logo red again, unfortunately, in alert mode here, as we are seeing some concern as we're looking toward the Caribbean Sea, seeing some area there that's really catching our attention. Just gotta be monitoring things here as we're looking at an area of low pressure there that's getting this act together, or at least here as we're looking ahead and some of the model guidance. So I just got to pay attention here as you see all these different models behind me for systems. They're not what we're really watching. It's down toward this area in general. We got to be watching for development here as we look ahead. Unfortunately, the hurricane models don't really catch up here on this system until we have an invest really designated here. So that's kind of the storyline there right now, but we'll probably start having that information here as we look ahead in toward that timeline. I know there's some national severe stories as well that we'll get to toward Ohio right now with a tornado warning in the Cleveland area, and then earlier on in Michigan there east of Lansing, some really serious concern for a tornado that touched down that looked to be very significant. So we'll get into that here as we can, but right now the tropics are the headline because that could impact North Florida and South Georgia. So just make sure you're staying prepared here, staying tuned for the latest. There's still some uncertainty. Some of our models haven't come on board as of last check with the latest here. I know one of the models that I'm talking about is coming out right now, so there's a chance we could be seeing something change with that as I'm speaking. But the model that we generally follow the most, the European, has been on board with this here over the last couple of days or so. And that means we got to be paying attention here toward Florida for maybe a tropical storm or even a category one hurricane type of impact at this point, not off the table. So we just got to be monitoring here for the very latest. So let me go ahead and go into toward the graphics here right now. I know gonna really focus on the tropics here. So let's go ahead and see our graphical presentation. And you can see here the late Thursday National Hurricane Center update. I know it's kind of there under the bug a little bit, so let me take that off real quick. It's kind of right there. You can see it a pretty good bit, but let's just take off that real quick here. I think I'll take the clock and our bug off just so you guys can see that a little bit better here. So again, we have a couple systems, 40-50%. We're not concerned with those. Franklin's going to be a rip current risk, but what we're really watching here is a system that has a 70% risk here, folks, of development in the next 7 days, and it could impact our area here. And if it did impact it, it'd probably happen within 7 days. Actually, it's just the development region. You see, nowhere to go. Probably wouldn't develop over land that generally doesn't happen with tropical systems. It did happen one time there, I believe, in 2016 there when it was upgraded officially there. In the here and now per se, but again, 70% chance of development here with that area looking toward Honduras there, and just gonna have to keep on tracking things here in toward that timeline. Just keep on monitoring things as we look ahead here as the situation does progress. So let's go ahead. We'll go more toward the show now. Go ahead and put the logo and the time back on the screen here. But again, the tracks in the Gulf, they generally indicate different development scenarios. As we're looking through early Wednesday, these L's indicate potential areas that the European model says our tropical system could be in and what strength it could be. It could be in a wide variety of positions based on just some different changes there within the European and just some different type of really numbers per se and the like there with just how things kind of evolve here. So again, you just want to be focusing here on a threat somewhere in Florida. Maybe it doesn't impact our area the greatest. Right now, it seems like most of the models were clustered a little bit further toward the south here at first, maybe towards central Florida, and then kind of working their way up. You can kind of see that here. But then we have some that are a little bit further on out toward the panhandle. And if it were to make landfall toward the panhandle, it would have a little bit more time to strengthen. So gotta keep that in mind here. Gotta keep that in mind as we're just have to really be monitoring things here just check in for frequent updates because things can kind of shift around as the situation does develop. Maybe things really get their act together. Maybe things have a lot of trouble. We end up just getting a little bit of rain and not that big of a deal here. And we're just kind of giving this heads up here where it end up not being too big of a problem. But we just won't have a lot of time because this is early Wednesday looking at this and it's already Friday now. So that's the thing. This could develop pretty rapidly on us. And we got to be prepared here. Make sure that hurricane gets up to date as we go ahead and say right now. Look here at that tropical climatology. We're in later August. So this is what we expect here now. I know we've had systems in the past this time of year. Not saying by any stretch it'll be like this, but Andrew, the anniversary was yesterday. Now that 24th making landfall in South Florida. So it is that time. We're gonna really be watching. Things are getting active. We gave the heads up Tuesday night about this concern, and now could end up having the I name system here out of it. Maybe the J name system and whatever it gets named here, that system that we're looking at getting its head together later on in the Gulf of Mexico could move toward Florida. So it's important to take advantage of that Florida disaster preparedness sales tax holiday. It runs from Saturday here, so not even 24 hours away on that now, depending on if you're shopping like online or something. Now, if you're going to the store, most stores aren't open 24 hours, but you'll be able to take advantage of it there Saturday morning. I mean, if you need something, and we're still seeing indications like what we're seeing, just be prepared here because we don't want you guys to be rushing out at the last minute. But it's a situation here where I mean, you just always want to have the hurricane kit up to date. So I know it runs through Friday, August. There we start the 26th, and then running through September to not. Excuse me, September the 8th there. So I know it's kind of behind me. That's why I was trying to bring that to your attention. So again, running from Saturday, August 26th through Friday, September the 9th. So, or September the 8th. So, again, just trying to give you guys the latest on that. As you see here, some preparedness considerations. The system could develop very quick, so make sure your storm kit's ready. A basic disaster supplies kit includes water, non-perishable food, battery-powered or hand crank radio, no other radio, a flashlight, and a first aid kit. So again, I know that list available, ready.gov/kit. So flooding risk, coastal, inland, not out of the question. We just don't know what's going to really happen yet. So we just want you guys to kind of be ready. Want to get out ahead of this just in case something really comes together pretty rapidly here. So again, you just see here. You want to turn those devices as power outages are possible. Be ready to move that interior room or tornadic situation. And after a storm moves through, staying away from power lines and also generator safety critical. So just a lot of important things to keep in mind here with this tropical setup. With this tropical setup here, as we're watching what could become a tropical storm here, as we're looking ahead, tropical depression would be more likely first. Doesn't mean it will do that. It could just jump straight to tropical storm, but got a little bit of time here. The chance to start at 100 next 48 hours, but after that, that's when it could start to really take off, and then that's when things could happen quickly. Because the problem is, when I say it's developing quick potentially, it's because of it being in those warmer Gulf waters, folks. Those warmer Gulf of Mexico waters, and we've talked about that. That area there overall is very favorable for development. We're not going to have as much shear around in general here, and that could lead to some problems. We hope we'll get some shear and that could suppress things, but if we were to really be able to take advantage of the prime conditions, then that could lead to some problems. So just be ready here. Make sure your storm kit's ready just in case. A basic disaster supplies kit again includes water, non-perishable food there, battery powered or hand crank radio, no weather radio, flashlight, and a first aid kit. And then you go to that website there, and we'll be watching flooding, tornadoes, always possible in these situations. Don't know to the extent yet. Power outages possible too, but don't know the extent of that here either. So that's why it's important to stay tuned. We'll have special coverage as necessary here. We again are in alert mode, but let's go ahead and say here the next 7 days in terms of that rainfall forecast here. You can see there as we're looking now, and this is subject to change. It will change here, of course, as we look ahead. You can see areas there along the west coast of Florida. This is showing here, according to the Weather Prediction Center. Maybe as we get on that scale, they're about 4 inches in areas there right near that coast. Some areas as we get a little bit further in, we'll be seeing amount a little bit less as of right now. But again, this is subject to change. It will shift around a good bit probably, and as we get more confidence in this here and we get closer, if this were to really organize, we'll probably get more of these totals to spread on in here with the forecast. And right now, this is sowing toward the Big Bend region. Areas there about 2.5 inches, give or take. 2 inches here as we're looking toward inland north central Florida, but this is all very early, very preliminary, and it will shift around. Some we've had an actual direct hit from a stronger tropical storm across parts of our 62 counties, and we'd be seeing a situation where we'd probably see higher rainfall totals than this. This is kind of just splitting the difference right now in case you don't get something. But again, our 62 counties is our commitment to you to be prepared here to give you guys the very latest information to protect you, your friends, and your family. We're in Bradford County in north central Florida. And then you can see here, just looking towards some of the different areas, we'll be here. This is how we calculate our rain chances too. So I know sometimes they might be kind of a little bit skewed here at points because, I mean, some of our area here, even if we're kind of really focusing on things, really focusing on a certain area here. Many of us could get rain, but a few of us might not get into the rain still. So just something to kind of bear in mind. And then let's go ahead and see that extended forecast. We're not going to get into the high school football forecast here tonight, but I will say chances of rain have gone up just a tad here, but hopefully things will be okay for Bradford and Baker here as we're looking ahead toward a Friday night there in the Stark area. I hope we don't have any lightning delays like we did last year. Only a 30% chance of rain, but I raised it from 10% there. So that's something to kind of bear in mind here as we're looking at things. Again, now a 30% chance. There could be some stuff coming out of Georgia. We'll see. But right now, not very high for Stark in general, but it's something that you have to at least keep an eye out now on the radar for, just in case. But it's going to be hot. It's even hotter toward Saturday and Sunday. As we look ahead toward Monday, here rain chances start to increase some, but it's about Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for that possible local tropical threat. So let me go ahead and step out of the side. I'll be back here in the shot here in just a moment. Let me just show you this. You can see I know our average temperatures here going to be exceeded a good bit here with this heat, but then maybe something that kind of balances things out some as we look toward Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday here, folks. Could have some nasty weather moving on through. So that's why we had that logo red. We want you guys to be prepared just in case maybe things don't really come together here overall. I don't come together overall here, but we'll just have to continue to track things here in case they do. Because you don't want to be caught off guard. You don't want to be caught off guard. Again, it's always about protecting our counties here. That's what it's all about here at Cloud Weather in these type of situations, and we'll be on for national Florida coverage as well if that is a bigger storyline. But really, it's about our 62 counties. That's what we're really focused on here at Cloud Weather. I'm going to go ahead and look at some more information behind the scenes. I know we're getting several tornado warnings down toward Ohio on that national storyline here. We had a very significant tornado move through parts of Michigan, developed really, really rapidly earlier on. So that's a big deal that we're going to touch on here in a second. And the current tornado warnings up there, we're achieving that threat a bit up toward the northern part of the country. I don't see any questions right now from any of the viewers, though. But again, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for trusting me here early on this Friday morning Eastern time zone. We've had tropical threats toward Texas' Harold, toward California's Hillary, and now it could be toward Florida, maybe our area here with a system next week. Could get the I name, could get the J name. Don't want to kind of really focus on one name yet associated with a potential impact. But again, we'll be here. It could be a tropical storm, maybe a low rain hurricane. Maybe it didn't develop and it's just some rain, or maybe it does develop, but pushes somehow just away from our area a bit here with the greatest impact. So a lot of different options still on the table, but because we're going into a weekend, that's one reason I want to emphasize is that we had a little more time before a weekend here with the next update. Then I might not go quite as strongly with the word, but by the time we get back to school and work on Monday there, I know it's early Friday, still have school and work today, but my point is, it's generally Tuesday, Thursday. By next Tuesday night, we could be in storm coverage, so we'll have updates in between, but sometimes you guys maybe aren't really tuning into things or focusing on high school football, as I know many of you want to here and should, as the weather should be pretty good for most of us here, but a few spots some scatter storms as I've alluded to. So, okay, so let's go ahead and put the Doppler radar back on here now, and I'm going to go ahead and come back here in front of the chroma key, in front of the key wall here at this point, and say, guys, again, there's your 7-day, but let's go ahead now and go to the Doppler radar technology. Not too much going on across our area right now. It's just some good news. Temperature's still pretty toasty, 73 toward Keystone, 76 toward Gainesville, 80 in Tallahassee. And I'll look where I'm at. We're east of Stark Lakes at 71, a little bit cooler, a little bit drier in here, which is nice, but it's going to get more moist. You saw those lows going up there in the timeline, so we got to just be watching out for that. And then got to watch out for this tornado threat toward parts of the northern half of the country tonight. You can see we have several tornado warnings here in play right now in Ohio. We already had a tornado situation there in Michigan earlier on, there east of Lansing. So right near the interstate, we had some problems based on some reporting reports here. You can see there right toward this area, either Reberville or Weberville. I would think it's probably Weberville based on looking at it on our maps, but again, really serious tornado movement through there. Significant. I caught it strong on Twitter. Could have been violent based on some indications of debris signature. It developed so rapidly. Another tornado on radar with debris there in the Grand Rapids area, not running downtown, but some big time problems. There are thoughts and prayers to those impacted by this severe weather. I think it's going to be serious, that toll here in terms of the damage. And as we look ahead in the timeline, we'll be looking at the aftermath of that. It just came together so quick. Thunderstorm watches in play. Not even tornado watches here as we're looking toward these areas. A slight risk there for the tornado threat, enhanced for the overall threat. And again, we do have 3 tornado warnings right now. Look at that wind that we just had through Cleveland over the last little bit. There's 75-mile-an-hour wind reported there in Cuyahoga County. And then as you see here, we have tornado warnings right now. One of these off toward the east, it looks like Yaga Lake and Ashtabula counties there, until about 12:45 a.m. in northeastern Ohio. We're talking about a possible tornado there that's moving east at 65 miles an hour. And then you can see some rotation in here. These might not be again quite as strong as what we saw earlier on in the line formation. We saw some of this there south of Detroit as well. Not what we saw there like east of Lansing when things that really came together. The most volatile threat, but still a tornado can do damage. You got to take those tornado precautions. The threat here northwest of Youngstown, Ohio right now. Talking about a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. This warning goes for parts of Portage, Trumbull, Geauga, also Summit and Ashtabula counties. And then we have a third tornado warning here. These are all radar indicated as of the last check here, based on these warnings anyway. And then southwest of Akron, there's that third red box. This is a tornado warning. It is canceled out Lorraine, but continuing for looks like areas like Ashland, Wayne, and I'll see Medina, maybe Medina, but probably Medina there. The pronunciation on that possible tornado based on radar indications down here. Severe thunderstorm watch continues for these areas, but sometimes you can occasionally have tornadoes produced in severe thunderstorm watches. So a nasty set of circumstances coming together, adverse weather conditions. A lot of STP out here for this part of the country. Kind of ridge rider per se is set up here, and energy we're kind of starting to be on the edge of that, you can tell, but we have enough mixing to cause a threat here for some concern towards some of these different areas. 2 tornado warnings now. So the latest you see, we have the one, and they're just trimming it back too, east of Cleveland toward Ashtabula, I guess. Sorry about these pronunciations. Not too familiar with these areas, but you see the area around Worcester. It looks like possible to head in that direction over the next little bit. This is in Ohio as well. So again, we'll just have to continue to watch things as we're looking up here. You don't see any threats to the east and northeast core air up there. But unfortunately not getting in on that as we're looking toward the south. Ignore that 56 there in Mississippi. That site's always off there with the reading. But again, just continuing to watch things here. Not much on our Doppler right now, but again, it's going to be about watching the tropics here. as we look ahead into the timeline. So let me go ahead and just pull up here our graphic with the information with those models here, and you'll be able to see it's really one model, but it's different variations of it. The European. So again, this shows different potential tracks here that our system could take. So we just got to stay prepared for the very latest and make sure that we're ready to go in case we have some type of tropical system evolve, maybe a tropical storm, maybe a lowering hurricane could end up moving in the direction of Florida. Still a lot of uncertainty though, so just stick with me here for the very latest. You see it there on the late Thursday update from the Hurricane Center as well. So again, a 70% chance of development there. You can see this time of year for storms, and we have that tax holiday here from Saturday through Friday, September the 8th, and then just be prepared here in case we have some type of threat around. We'll get through it here in the Weather Center with live covered on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube and Twitch. Your ad necessary. Live updates might be necessary. Nothing's formed yet. That's the good news, but could start to have that formation take place. Could end up getting under watches and or warnings here as we look ahead later on. So that'll do it for now. Try to enjoy that Friday high school football there, but check in for updates here during the weekend. I'll be providing them here as the situation does require. So stick with me here, all the different platforms: Facebook, Casey Cloud, WX Cloud Weather, Twitter at Cloud Casey, YouTube at Cloud Weather. There, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. It's free to do so on that. You can any of these pages are free here, but on there you can actually enable notifications for everything, really, in terms of me coming on each time. You'll be notified when that happens. You have to have Twitch. You have the links available on cloudweather.com as well to live coverage from the different platforms. You also have interactive radar over there as well. But for now, just stay safe here as we watch this as it gets closer, and watch it get really closer toward our area. So that'll do it for now here, and we'll be back with the latest updates as necessary.